Nhelv, a former top 1 memory demon that is heavily renowned for how it is one of the most beloved levels of 2.1, and for how ridiculously hard it is. This level has difficult to memorize sections, hard timings, epilepsy attacks, and a very, very nerve-wracking duel at the end of the level. This level is considered to be bloodlust difficulty, placing at the top 2 or 3 on the Aradal, and yet I decided to go for it as my next hardest, thinking it'd be a fairly fun level with only some challenge. Foreshadow. Yeah, of course that didn't happen. Let's start from the very beginning. I started this level planning to do it as a new hardest, but I was in the middle of Yatagarasu still, so what I did is I simply tried to learn this on the side while playing Yatagarasu, and so when I beat Yatagarasu, I'd be able to beat Nhelv faster, hopefully. However, this is not a level you want to learn on the side, since it is very hard to learn, and I kid you not, you need a damn rocket science degree to understand even half the things that happen in this, so imagine my surprise when I could learn jack shit about the level. Fast forward probably 3 days of epilepsy, and we have learned the duels. Yay, that's only 20% of the level. We're gonna be here for a while. I first started going for runs on this level like Robot Duel to 100 and Wave Duel to 100 fairly fast, but the thing about Nhelv, and really any nerve control level, but especially this one, is that it is very easy to get runs on this level, but from 0 it is significantly harder. I continued through the level learning the mountain, the UFO and weird shit before it, and the break cube at 57%. And after a little bit, I got my first decent run being 72 to 100, which I don't have footage of sadly, since I didn't record a lot of the earlier runs I got, since I didn't know if I wanted to make a video like this. So sorry in advance. Then after my 72 to 100 run, since I had learned all the parts after 57%, it was time to learn the dreaded 43 to 57% section, which is in my opinion probably the hardest part of the level. But to understand why this part is so hard, we need to understand what makes it hard, starting off with 43 to 44%. This part has a lot of fast ship orb timings that are all buffers, which at first seems easy, but doing buffers with the ship compared to the ball, cube, or robot is way harder, since you can't just hold beforehand to make sure you hit but the buffers correctly. You need to actually click on the first possible frame of the orb, which is super inconsistent, not to mention the pink dash orb at the end being the most annoying piece of shit ever. Just look how many times I died here. And then afterwards you have this ship where you have to hold late but not too late so you don't hit the top spikes. Then you have this UFO that has the weirdest click pattern and takes forever to get consistent with. It's just... Then you have this spider part, which isn't hard at all, but this one click specifically is so annoying because I have to die there at least once to be able to pass it later. Like, it is a literal government-mandated death for literally no reason whatsoever. But then after that, you have a fairly simple cube into a surprisingly fun wave part that is very unique and satisfying to play, that afterwards transitions into a very high CPS memory ball that is also very fun to play. Alright, that was a lot to take in, but thankfully that's it. Wait. What do you mean that's only 57% of the level? Alright, so believe it or not, there's still another long, difficult to learn section that hurts your eyes even after all of that. And that is the drop of this level, which goes from 28% to 48%. This part is so freaking hard to learn that even after entire sessions, I only had bits and pieces of this part learned. It is that bad. I would literally zone out while playing this part from 0 and completely forget what to do at times.
Like I'm being hypnotized by the level.
This part's really complicated, so I'm just going to go over what to do in a very brief, incoherent way. Okay, so first you gotta buffer this orb, and then hit these dash orbs in the middle, and then you enter this portal here, and then you hold here, and then you do 2 clicks really fast here, then you do a hold here and a buffer, and then you do 3 clicks here to hit that orb in the air, and then you hold here to miss that orb, and then you click those 2 orbs and hold, and you buffer that, and then you buffer the dash orb, and you hold until you reach the pad and let go, and you do that click, and you do that click there, and you hit that click early, and then you hit that orb, and then you hit the dash orb, and then you let go of the pad, and then you keep holding, and then you do those 2 clicks, and then you wait, and then you hit this dash orb, and you hold until you reach the top, and then you do these 2 timings, and then you buffer that orb there, and then you hit that dash orb, and then you buffer that red orb, and then you hold, you keep holding here, and then you get teleported, and then you do 2 clicks here, and then you hit that black orb there, and then you hit that green, and you do double click there, and you hit that orb in the middle, and then you hit that orb in the middle too, and then you hit that
power wall, and you hold, and then you hold until you reach that, and then you do one click, and do a micro click, and do another click here, and then you hold until you reach that pillar right there, and then you hold again, and then you hold, and then you let go, and then you do a buffer hold, you hold here, and then you hold late, and then hold again, and then you hold there for a brief amount of time, and then you do a little hold there, you jump up, and you hit that green orb, hit that orb early, and you hit that power wall early, and then you buffer that orb there, and then you get to this UFO part.
Now, this UFO part is very interesting and unique. To pass it, you have to do a very specific click pattern that leaves no room for error. How it works is there is a certain amount of portals that are highlighted with black to indicate that you are supposed to click on those portals, and you have no room for error. You have to click exactly on those portals to make sure you don't die, which, believe it or not, is quite hard. I struggled with this part a lot from zero, but we will get to that later. Let's talk about the pre-drop now. We will begin at the wave part that starts at 15%. This wave part is way harder with no LDM, and it almost feels blind at times. The click pattern is not crazy hard, and it has enough micro details and timings to make this part eerily annoying from zero. Next is the ball part that follows after the wave part. This part is quite sight readable and has timings that flow very well with the song, and is overall a very satisfying part to play that gets fairly consistent. And finally, we have this little in-between part with a memory cube and wave that's not that hard, but killed me a lot surprisingly. Before these parts is just an easy cube and first ship that I don't have a lot to say about other than they aren't that hard. And with that, we have learned all of Nhelv and can move on to the next phase of being this level. Since I have now learned the whole level, I want some progress from zero, and my first goal was 43%, which is the start of the black and white part. But that run is not so easy to get since you have to pass the entire red part and everything before it to reach this point. I wish I could say I got lucky with this run, but I really did not. No, my fault. Bro, there's no way. No, nah. I died to the fuck. Remember how I said this UFO would be a problem? Well, I wasn't kidding, as I died here 6 more times before a single pass. But eventually, I would pass the red part from zero after a lot of bad luck. Thank you. I don't care that I died to the first. With that run complete, I now have the beginning and the ending down into one run each. Now all I have to do is the middle, which surprisingly didn't take that long. And shortly after that, I even got the level down in 2 runs. Nice! Alright, 2 runs. You'd think with progress like that I would surely beat the level soon, right? Well, for a while it looked that way, because I continued to get progress like 50%, 52%, and 69%. We'll take it! Things were going quite well. Almost too well. Then it happened. January 19th, GD 2.208 dropped, and down went Geode. That meant I had lost the tools that allowed me to practice the level, like Start Position Switcher and custom keybinds, which is devastating for my consistency. So I waited for 5 whole days hoping Geode would come back, and it never did. And I ended up having to downgrade to a previous version to keep playing. After 5 days of not playing Nhelv, I assumed my consistency was in a dumpster, that it would take several days for it to get back to where I was before, since I was already making pretty fast progress, and that it would take an eternity to get another new badge. Okay, maybe that was a fluke. Now there will be no more new badges.
I gotta open to my chest. Nice.
I got past the wave duel, kind of.
Well, I'll be damned. Maybe we won't be here forever after all. If you like this style of content, please consider subscribing. Alright, back to the video. Despite the inability to play Nhelv for 5 days, it seemed my consistency was at an all-time high. Maybe this would not be such a struggle after all. I mean, I already have 88%, so surely the next ending attempt, or the one after that, would be the one, right? Well, unfortunately, that would not be the case, as I failed again. Yay! And again.
Sapphire.
What? Nah, dude, what did I...
And again.
No!
And again.
Oh my god.
Oh, there was another one. And again. No, I died at 87. But then something miraculous happened. I had passed every choke point from 0 and was once again at the ending duels. And then this happened. No, I knew it would be 96 too. 96%. A devastating fail. Had I clicked only slightly later, and I would be at the finish line of this brutal challenge. But unfortunately, this did not happen. I kept playing after that fail, but I didn't get that far again, and I ended the day feeling defeated. I took a 2-day break after the 96% fail, since I realized I was playing worse, and those 2 days let me reflect on everything. They let me reflect on not just Nhelv, but how I view the game in general. I feel very often we forget that Geometry Dash is a game for fun, and that bad luck and far fails are just part of the game, and they definitely don't define your self-worth. But sometimes we get caught up in the game and just lose ourselves, and sometimes just a short break can be the mental reset you need to get back on track. I came back after my 2-day break, ready to beat this level on the first day back, and I failed. But on day 2, this happened. Aw, man. Do I already have to do another no-clip run? No! Yes! Yes! Now that is what we're talking about. Yeah. Yeah, I beat it.